Good evening or morning, everyone, and I hope that you are all keeping well. Now, this has been on my mind for quite some time, based on things that I've been seeing and research that I've been doing into the special military operation slash special military fast slash war in Ukraine, illegal invasion, etc. Now, I wanted to cover this because I think some of the recent research I've been doing is kind of pointing me in a direction of travel which may indicate the medium future for armoured vehicles, if not the long term. Now, long term, there's a danger of fighting the war that has already been fought. So, for example, the British Army invested heavily in IED-proof vehicles. It's now planning to do something against Russia. So it's going back to Cold War stuff. But if you look at the majority of Western armoured vehicles, they're not equipped really for the current drone threat other than countermeasures. Now, we'll come on to why that doesn't always work and why some of the latest research into what the Russians and the Ukrainians are doing may provide some solutions. So first of all, we have two vehicles here. We have the Centauro B1 late. This is a D'Agostini die-cast, which I've repainted and given a 50 cal. And then we have the B1 Centauro 2025 model, or 2024, late 2024 model. And this is one that I'll be talking about, which I've just done and I haven't painted yet. So let's talk about armour. Well, first of all, you have to realise that you can never protect against all of the threats all of the time. If you were going to protect against all of the threats all of the time, you would have a tank that was too heavy to move, and that would be then vulnerable to air power. Now, the chieftain talks about this better than I do, but basically there's what's called the armour protection onion. So at the outer rings, you've got don't be seen, don't be hit. That's the use of ground, the use of terrain, the use of masking, use of ECM, the use of barracuda camouflage, thermal reduction, smoke screens, you name it. And then you've got don't be penetrated. That's about the armour, where the armour is, what it protects. You may get a mobility kill, but the crew will survive, as in the Merkava family. You've got then the last ring, which essentially is don't blow up or catch fire, because if you blow up or catch fire, that is really the catastrophic end of the vehicle. So if you are penetrated, you want it to be a mobility kill or maybe the loss of one crewman, but no catastrophic fire or penetration. So if you think about the Sherman dry stowage in World War II, they did blow up when they were hit because of the dry stowage. The wet stowage rapidly and vastly reduced the amount of brew-ups, protecting the crew and at least allowing them to get out. Now, eventually the tank will blow up. British stowage tends to work on that wet stowage principle. American and German stowage works on the bustle principle, which the Russians have blatantly adopted with the T-90M Pirov, not the early T-90. There's other things that you can do, such as with older tanks like the M60A3. As the Israelis found, you can reduce the flash point of the, or increase the flash point rather of the hydraulic fluid, giving you better protection against fires. You can change your ammo stowage or carry less rounds, but ultimately you just want to delay it, because even a Challenger 2 or a Leopard, once hit and hit in the wrong place, will detonate. But if you delay that to save the valuable crew, well, that's a big win. And that's the advantage the Ukrainian Western armour has, as opposed to the old Soviet stuff like the T-64s and the T-84 Oplots, where you've still got that carousel autoloader. So let's have a look at the reason why you can't protect everything all the time. Well, the main reason is you've got this triangle between armour, firepower and mobility. Now, this becomes more important when you're dealing with light vehicles. Now, my MEF is using light vehicles like the Centauro, which is around 30 tonnes, air mobile, strategically mobile, and the penalty is you can't really increase the weight too much, because one, your vehicle bogs down, it doesn't have mobility, and two, you stress the drivetrain beyond what it's designed for, and then you have reliability problems. So let's look at the main threats that I think we've got against these vehicles. Now, I'm never going to be able to protect the Centauro against every hit, because if I had enough protection to the Centauro, effectively I'd end up with a Merkava 4M, which I also use, or a Leopard 2A7 Pro, or a Challenger 2 theatre entry standard, and then you're looking immediately at 70 plus tons. I don't want these vehicles to go above that, so I'm providing protection to them, which is within the weight limit, but isn't going overboard. So let's have a look at the threats that are against them at the minute. And one of the big threats that we've seen in the war in Ukraine, special military force, whatever you want to call it, is the pooping drone. So the pooping drone is one that hovers around and drops a bomblet on top of the tank. Now, you've seen that at the opening phase of Hamas's terrorist attack in Israel, where they disabled and mobility killed a Merkava 4M. Now, the pooping drone is designed to target the weak points. So it will target the top of the vehicle, it will target the engine bay, it will target the weaker area around the top of the hull. And the pooping drone is designed to just get a mobility kill. It will kill like a soft skin vehicle, but for something with armour like this, it will mobility kill it. And a Merkava is the same, because even though tanks have heavy side and front protection, unless you look at the Merkava 4 or the Swedish STRV 122, which is their upgraded Leopard 2s, you don't have a lot of top attack protection. It's a real weak point, even on Western tanks. So the pooping drone is one problem, and you can protect against the pooping drone with anti-pooping drone cages like this one. Your next problem is Lancet type FPV, or first person view anti-armour drones. Now, they are devastating, and they are currently ripping through the Ukrainian attack into the Kursk region. And when you look at the targeting and how they work, you've got two warheads. The initial ones had heat, and the latest Lancet 3 is using an EFP, or explosively formed penetrator warhead. Now, what these drones do is, because they're FPV, is they'll come in on the vehicle, and they'll actually, if you look at the footage, they'll go around the vehicle and they'll find the weakest point of the vehicle. So, for example, on this Centauro, if you're attacking this with an FPV drone, the drone would come in and it would go for the weakest points on the vehicle, even the ammunition stowage at the rear. Now, if you look at some of the hits that they're getting against the Ukrainian Bradleys, they're actually able to pick out areas where maybe the turret's turned and they're striking the rear hatch, or they're striking the bum end of the vehicle, for want of a better term, and they're striking it right at the weak point. Now, when they've moved to EFPs, it's even more deadly, because they don't even have to hit it. But what they do is they get close, and you'll see that there's the initial charge forming the explosive penetrator core, and it's that which is then doing the damage and hitting the vehicle. It's really hard to protect against that. So to boost the protection of the Malagasy What If Centauros, we have got ECM, which is those antennae here, and there and at the front, and that is designed to give the tank a protective ECM, a protective ECM. Now, this vehicle is quite unique in being one of the few, like the Merkava 4M, to be fitted with an active protection system. Now, it won't cover the whole of the vehicle on this because of weight. It will cover the front 270 of the turret only. So obviously, if your turret is turned, then you'll lose some protection over the front. So what I'm then looking at, and this is going to that recent video I linked to, is using, if you like, these dog ears of rubber. And what these do is they remove that option for the FPV drone to hit in that weak point, and they then force the FPV drone operator into the line where the active protection system, and this Centauros that I've got, they actually cover a lot higher than even the Merkava 4M, and they will take on your top attack weapons when they're coming in. So you've got good protection on this from the active protection system, but only in the area it covers. So you're protecting against anti-pooping drones, and now you're adding some protection against FPV drones. Same with the rear, over the ammo, you're reducing the angle, you're making it hard because they fly down here, they're going to hit the ground or impact into the soil. And then the driver has protection against pooping drones here and here, which is a very lightweight, it would be a Kevlar based armour, so it's lightweight. It's not protecting the whole of the vehicle, but it's giving a screen of protection. Now, why do you need these physical screens? Why can't you just use ECM? Well, one of the problems that we're seeing now in the war in Ukraine, and the Russians have developed this, although it wasn't initially their idea, and this is all open source knowledge, it's publicly available, is they're using fibre optic cable drones. And what that means is that your jamming system can't jam them. You've got a chance of jamming radio controlled drones or ones on Wi-Fi, but where they're using the fibre optic cable, that gets difficult to jam. And I think for that reason, if you look at what the Russian Armour is doing with their protection, that's where they are putting these ears on and this stuff to really limit those drones coming in. It's a constant evolving battle. I hope this video helps. I'll get this painted, but let me know what you think. Take care. Bye.